Hello, Vankahs.
What's up, Vankahs?
Greetings, Vankahs. You all loved the driver tier list. So we thought we would do another one, not just the drivers list. And yeah, these guys, the individuals, sure. But let's talk about the teams. Because these teams need to be scrutinized. These teams need to be graded. Formula One is a team sport as much as it's set up to not be that way. So we want to go through all the teams this year and give them their own tier rankings. You know how this works. S is the highest. A, B, C, D. If you want to throw an F in there, this might actually be an appropriate one to do that with.
That's
so
right.
we reserve that right for you to throw an F tier if it deserves it. But, it's a new reg set, Guenther. How do you feel like the teams overall have responded to these new regulations?
What I was surprised, the gap between the big ones and the small ones, very surprising. So, and I don't know if the big ones overperformed, how they responded better than expected, or did the smaller ones underperform? Difficult to say, But I just find the gap has become very big, which is, and it's now again a tier society. It's the top teams. It's a small midfield with two teams. And then there is the back markers, which are quite a solid bunch there, Yeah. So it has changed completely from last year.
Yeah, last year was I think the closest, from first to last in terms of just raw pace. It was one of the closest seasons we've ever had in Formula One. Yeah. And now it's jumped to one of the largest gaps that we've ever had. Yeah. We're only halfway through the year. We've got a lot more season left to come, but we want to go through the year so far. So let's do that. But before we get into these rankings, this is, of course, Vankah Hours, part of the Vox Media Network. Let's cue the music.
Go Fox smash my door. I'm done the fucking Steiner and I'm back for more. Go Fox smash my door. I've got the fucking Steiner and it's time for Vankah Hours, baby. Vankah Hours, baby. Vankah Hours, baby. Vankah Hours, baby.
And we're back. Okay, Guenther, let's start with the last place team with 0 points. The American Formula One team, CADILLAC.
The only American team on the grid.
No, there's a second one. There is Haas. I forget always.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So it's a D. I mean, I think they put a lot of effort in. They have got a lot of resources, and I think they came out even in their own. If they would look in the mirror and say, "Did we expect to be this bad?" They would have said no. Because, they came out bad, but didn't make up anything. It's actually, I would say, even going the wrong direction in the moment. And they've got two good drivers, as good as they can, as good as you can have for a new team, Obviously, they don't have Max Verstappen and Kimi Antonelli, but they've got two very experienced drivers.
Yeah. I mean, Max Verstappen and Kimi Antonelli couldn't have done much in these cars either.
No.
I mean, what you have are two drivers on that team who have beaten a Max Verstappen and who beat a Lewis Hamilton while in the same cars as them. So you can't blame it on the drivers. No. Guenther, you started a team in a similar way to CADILLAC with even less resources. You had fewer resources than CADILLAC. You got your engines from Ferrari, just like CADILLAC is doing. You got, in many ways, there's a lot of parallels to how you started started Haas to how CADILLAC has started their team. If anything, you had less to work with. Where have they dropped the ball? Because you guys came out hot.
I don't know where they exactly dropped the ball. First of all, I must say it has not become easier Formula One in the last 10 years, but it wasn't easy 10 years ago, to be honest. Right. I think where they dropped the ball, I think it's all about the people. I think, let's say, maybe I got lucky with the people, when we started everything.
They hired the right team principal to start it off with, first of all. in
Who
your
they?
case.
Haas.
I hired myself, you know, so
Yeah.
I started the team, you know.
That's
so
right.
I've got that advantage that I hired myself, nobody had to hire me. So, but no, I would say it's all about, as you said, Cadillac had for sure a shitload more money than we had at the time, you know.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Yeah.
yes, and again, money is very important, but it's not all about money in Formula One. You know, money alone doesn't make you good, as you can see with Cadillac. And I think also, I think they expected, with all what they put into it, with their great plans, I think they anticipated to be better.
Right.
And then normally when you anticipate something, you get too confident, and you get, when you get too sharp, you cut yourself.
Yeah, and I think, and I pulled up something that I think isn't obviously a great barometer, but it's part of, sometimes if your car sucks operationally, this is something useful to look at. I mean, Red Bull, even when they weren't fast, they always had the best pit stops, and you knew that they were the most well-run team in the Christian Horner, Jonathan Wheatley sort of era. They are in the DHL pit stop standings. They are in 10th, so they're not even. And when Stake was shit, remember they couldn't even nail a pit stop. So I think pit stops time is also indicative of how well a team is run to some degree. They are in 10th place right now.
Who's 11th?
Haas, actually.
Okay.
And you'd be surprised who's if you look at it, like Racing Bulls is actually ahead of Red Bull, which is kind of shocking. Red Bull is 4th. And Racing Bull is 3rd. So, I mean, in terms of the brain drain at Red Bull and, losing Jonathan Wheatley and a lot of people, that's definitely hurt them.
Yeah, it doesn't help, no? Oh,
Yeah.
Good people, no?
Well, we'll be looking at that when later we grade them, because they have had quite the season in terms of, the expectation versus the execution. Yeah. They might be, outpacing some of the front runners. Let's move on, though, to our next team, the Aston Martin Formula One team. They have 1 point. I think if we recorded this a couple of weeks ago, they might have been along Cadillac in the D tier, but given the recent upgrade and the recent jump in performance, where would you put Aston now?
I think they would have been in the F grade a few races ago, because they were 2 seconds behind Cadillac, and we need to be fair here. I think they get.
Are we grading? Wait, hold on. Are we grading them now, or how they are now, or how they've
now?
Or are we giving them like how they've been over the course of the season? Cumulative.
It's a combination.
Right.
Okay.
I think.
Gotcha.
Part of why they were so bad was because they didn't bring any upgrades, and they were saving their upgrade for Hungary. And then so you can grade them on the season, but you can also say, well, part of the shitty performances.
It's part of the season, but I would say therefore I would give them a D+, because they did the right thing. They knew they were shit, and bringing a new front wing in one of the races, or a 50-gram lighter wishbone in one would not make them better. They rightly did say, we don't bring little upgrades. They don't help,
Right.
We will be bad for a certain amount, but we work on a B-spec car. What they did, they came back a lot stronger. I don't think we don't know yet how really strong they are, but at least they're gone past Cadillac pretty good now. So I would give them a D+, just for the courage what they had to do what they did, in saying it's no point to bring upgrades and tell people, because people always like to say, we're bringing upgrades, we are going to go faster. And then 80% of the time the upgrades don't work, and you don't hear anything about the upgrades anymore,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's all, propaganda.
Right.
Okay.
So it's still D, but it's D+.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But still, yeah.
And the momentum indicator are pointing to they might finish this year, when we do it at the end of the year, to be a bit higher even than that. That's right. There'll be an S tier.
I don't think they will end us.
Well, for another team that, has not been going so well this year, in 9th place is Williams. They have 11 points, but are looking potentially weaker than ever as the Aston Martins and teams around them have made improvements. What would you give Williams?
A D. Because also because the expectation was, since 2 years we hear we want to be judged on 26 26, yes, you get judged on 26 is shit, basically, you know. So and also, you know, we are bringing upgrades, and in 6 races we are back in the midfield, you know, nowhere near. You know, now the driver wants to leave. I mean, you know, I think it's a D. It's a clear D. What they're doing in the moment. They came overweight.
Guenther, you're wrong. Guenther says the focus is 2027 now. So
James says now they're focused on 2027.
James
but
he
in
says
Australia,
2027 now.
It was all in the emails for 2026, you know.
That's right.
So that's for me, it's a D.
Okay.
It's a D. Okay,
and they are 7th. They're 7th in the pit stop standings, in case anybody was holding their breath waiting to know about.
There we go.
I mean, do you, as a team principal, are you looking at that? Are you using that as a barometer, how your pit stops are going?
No, your parameter is how many shit pit stops have you got, you know, what you have got to do, you know. I mean, you normally know how good you are or how bad you are. You're not, it's not a real competition. It's something exciting for the team, you know, to be good in a competition. If you say we have got the biggest pit stops, you use it. If you are the last one, I'm pretty sure at Haas in the moment, nobody speaks about pit stops, you know, because if they're last, they're last. But if in the DHL standing, you're number 1, you bring this up, you know, we are doing good. You know, it's one of these things.
Right, but there is a strong correlation, right? Because Mercedes is number 1, Ferrari's number 2. The one that's crazy, and I think that they're going to get a high grade here, is Racing Bulls is number 3. So I think there is some. You got to say there's got to be some smoke to, like, you know, the good teams have better pit stops.
Yeah.
They're just better run teams in general.
Well organized, yeah.
And their bathrooms are definitely cleaner. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Audi is in 8th place. They only have 12 points, only 1 more than Williams. But in terms of vibe, they feel like they are significantly better or on a better track. Where would you put Audi?
I would put Audi. I think it's a C or C+. I mean, maybe again 5 races ago, maybe it would have been a C-, because we don't have to forget they made their own engine the first time, and you know, and they're catching up. So C+.
Would you change that grade, given the fact that all these regs were designed for them to be in the sport?
Yeah, but there is nobody left from them people anymore. So these people don't care about. Yeah, exactly. There's nobody left. No, honestly, there's nobody left.
Oh my God! So you're saying that these regs were made to impress people that are no longer there?
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Ghosts. You know, they're ghost regs. You know, they're all ghosts now.
They just, what happened? They just cleaned house.
Yeah. A few times I think since then. Yeah.
Why did they fire these people before they even got to the grid?
Because they made this regs, I guess. That was a joke.
No. They knew ahead of time that the regs are going to...
No, I don't know, but because obviously they didn't deliver. I mean, I think the years before this new regs came in place, you know, it's a big corporate Audi. The big management changes, everything below it changes all the time, you know? That's a big corporate, I mean, you know?
So basically these regs were kind of a total failure in the sense that nobody's happy.
I don't think many people are happy. Not even Audi, I think, in the moment are happy. You know?
Right. Wow.
Mercedes. Well, there's
Mercedes.
The
winner is always happy.
Mercedes.
Sorry. The winner is always happy because
Toto's feeling pretty good in Sardinia with Max and
exactly.
Kimi right
about the Rex.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Your old team, Haas, 21 points.
What did we give Audi? C+, huh?
C+.
Yeah.
I would give them a C-. I think they came out pretty strong in the beginning, but I think that strong, you can see as well that the big teams failed. That gave them opportunity, and they were in the right place at the right time, you know. But from then onwards, it has been, you know, downhill, while Audi's uphill. I think that for a C-.
Aston Martin's going to go uphill.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Haas had a big upgrade. I think it was in Barcelona. I don't remember it when they said they changed half the car, 16 parts, the biggest upgrade ever. and nobody noticed that the car was going any faster. So
That's just it's just the same. It's just the same story with them every year. They can't seem to do in-season upgrades.
No, they get their hair done and they come home and their husband, they're like, and did you notice anything different? And the husband's like,
No.
did you, I don't know, did you
You're like,
brush your teeth?
nails, nails.
Yeah.
No.
Your teeth whitened or?
No.
I did my hair.
Yeah.
Fuck. You don't notice anything.
It's our anniversary. No. Fuck.
No, they just keep doing their hair and no one seems to care, but you know, they would care if they were faster at the end of the day. Okay. Haas C-. Let's keep it rolling. Alpine has had a pretty solid year. They off of last year where they were heavy, they were kind of nowhere.
they were last year, huh? I think.
They were last year. Now they have 61 points. They are fighting Racing Bulls for that best of the rest position. Gasly's done well. Colapinto's done well.
Don't forget, last year they lost their team principal. I believe was that Ollie Oaks last year. That whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the beginning of the year with Ollie Oaks.
They lost Ollie Oaks.
They brought Flavio in. Flavio says these teams, Guenther, are worth $3.5 to $4 billion now.
Yeah.
He thinks in a few years that Alpine will be worth $10 billion. You have any before we get to their grade, do you have any response? Do you have any thoughts on that? Does that seem like accurate numbers to you?
I'm pretty happy for them if they're worth $10 billion. I think that's difficult to achieve, but that they're worth. I mean, the Mercedes, when Toto sold some of his shares, was valued at more than $6 billion. You know, so
yeah, crazy.
Why you want to buy one?
Why do you think Toto was selling his shares? Was he hard up for cash? Like, why would he sell?
He couldn't pay his mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. It's tough to live in Monaco.
Tough living in Monaco. You know, got behind with the mortgage and had to flog some of the team. You know,
if he's selling, that makes it's like, does he not think it's going to keep going up?
I mean, I think first of all the valuation they got was very high, and then. Finances. Maybe he's got another place to invest the money he got. He will not tell us. So how people is with money. Sometimes you don't need money, but you need it because you've got an opportunity. Maybe you had an opportunity somewhere else and did something differently. So.
Right.
Curious to see what that is. Okay, well, valuations aside, where would you grade Alpine?
Maybe he's buying Alpine.
I think he wanted, but then he decided, or Mercedes wanted, but then I think they decided not to. Where I put Alpine, a B, huh? Is it a B?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a B because
and
they
remember
were last.
He
or
sacked,
maybe a B minus. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
What? How do we feel? He sacked the entire engine. He sacked an entire factory.
Yeah, he closed down the factory. Yeah.
Yeah.
That paid off.
That paid off.
Big time. Both the Mercedes engine. Yeah. I think it's a B minus because they came in strong, but the last races, they're losing out against Audi. They are clearly behind Racing Bulls now. So I think it's a B minus.
Okay.
A few races ago would have been a B. Now it's a B minus.
Matt, where are they in the pit stop standings?
They must be sixth, though.
I'm so glad you asked. They are eighth.
6 to 8, I said it, Yeah.
Yeah.
They're eighth.
Okay.
Matt got it all. Matt got it figured out.
That means that, you know what that means? There's some time left on the table.
That's right.
If they were maybe a little bit more on cheap time. You can't, that's the cheap pit stops, cheap time. Okay. Then let's get to, one of the most impressive teams that we've seen this year. A team that is, talk about under-promising and over-delivering. The Racing Bulls, really strong, 66 points, third in the pit stop competition. Both drivers are going well. They seem to have a healthy competition going there. They seem every week like they are really, really strong. Where would you put Racing Bulls?
B plus, because they made a big step. They are clearly now the fifth best team. It's clearly so they and where they came from did a good job. B plus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they do have the best engine, so I mean, could you argue that they should be higher up on this list?
Yeah, Red Bull has got the best engine as well, and is not world champion. So
yeah,
exactly. So yeah.
If you're Red Bull, how are you feeling about them?
Good, because Red Bull owns them. Or if you're Red Bull Racing, you mean, or if you're Red Bull, Red Bull Racing. If you're Red Bull Racing, I mean, they are still behind Red Bull Racing, so it's nothing. You don't feel bad about it. I think the bad feeling comes if Racing Bulls is in front of Red Bull. Still, Red Bull is still quite a good step in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, they are next on the list. You know, Racing Bulls has 66 points. Red Bull has 177 points. So solidly above them, but not, you know, in a way that's too insane.
How does Red Bull ensure that Racing Bulls never catches them? Do they have worse facilities, worse budget?
I think all of it a little bit, you know, but
yeah.
You can never say that they don't catch them. But if you think Laurent, which is now running Red Bull, was at Racing Bulls until halfway through the season last year.
Right.
Mm.
So he is part of why Racing Bulls is this good. So I think it should be possible that Laurent does the same job for Red Bull now. That it takes some time, you know, to bring them up to speed. So you can see it like this. But I don't think just the infrastructure of Red Bull is so much more sophisticated than Racing Bulls. So I think the chances that Racing Bulls can consistently overtake Red Bull, that's not going to happen. There could be a year when they just luck into a very good car, but then also the drivers, obviously Red Bull puts the best drivers into Red Bull Racing and not to Racing Bulls. So, you know, everything is focused on Racing Bulls, but I think Red Bull is pretty happy that they've got a good second team.
Okay, but in terms of their grade, because it seems like Racing Bulls is over-delivering and Red Bull is under-delivering. You gave Racing Bulls a B+. Where would you give Red Bull?
A B. They're doing a good job, but they're not like overachieving for what they've got, you know. That's what I base it on.
I think think they really blew this a duo thing. I think Christian Horner would have never let that happen.
You're obsessed by that.
Yes, I am obsessed with it.
Well, now there's some you know non-crackpot people saying that. So you know Matt might have been early to it, but now there's other people.
I said it when it came out. I was like, "This is bullshit." Christian Horner would have burned the FIA to the ground before he let that happen. And he would have covered himself in rags and said, "We have no, you know, alms for the poor. You know, please, sir, may I have some more Oliver Twist?" And yeah, now, like a few weeks ago, the race said, "You know, I think Christian Horner wouldn't have let this happen." So
and you know why they said that? Because they listened to you on the pod.
That's right.
Which everybody should subscribe to. You know, the podcast.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. This is where you get it first.
Exactly. Where the race gets the information.
You don't think that Mekke's
right.
got caught a little bit unawares by the politics of this?
Yeah, it could easily be. Obviously, I mean, he just came in middle of the year. Everything was going. And, you know, you've got so much to do. People leaving left, right, and center. And you cannot focus everything, you know. So maybe it slipped through the cracks, that one, you know. Yes, Laurent, politically, he's no fool, you know. But I think his plate was so full, so maybe he missed it. Or he didn't put enough. Right. He didn't miss it. I mean, he's not stupid, but maybe he didn't put enough emphasis onto it. Or when he was getting aware of it, was a little bit too late to react heavily.
Not to mention also the rear wing drama that caused Max Verstappen to have multiple crashes, putting your golden goose in physical harm and jeopardy. Okay, so a B for Red Bull. I like it. Guenther, you are a harsh grader in the best possible way. So as of now, we've got Williams and Cadillac as Ds. Aston Martin, D+ with room to improve. Audi, C+, Haas, C-. Alpine, B-, Red Bull, B, and Racing Bulls, B+. No one's in the A tiers yet. What about McLaren? Next on the list, McLaren has 220 points. Seems like they've brought some upgrades. They are now coming online. How would you grade their season so far?
B.
B. Okay.
Maybe B+ because they won a race, you know. So yeah, B+. Yeah, B+. Yeah.
You're not digging them because they won the championship last year?
No, but obviously they are not as good as last year. If they were an A last year, they cannot be A because they are third, so B plus. But they won a race, so B plus, yeah, B plus.
It seems like they tried a few things in the early parts of the year that were not working. It seems like they've now tried a few things that are working. There's glimpses of the McLaren of the past few years that we're getting now, but certainly it has not been that way for the first 9 races of the year.
What are the odds you think that they overtake Mercedes? Not enough to win the championship, but they become
into
the
2027.
Into 2027, they're the faster car.
I think it will be a good competition there. It is not all. Obviously Mercedes had the advantage in the beginning of the year because they had their own power unit, or they are a power unit provider, and McLaren had to learn all about it. But McLaren, we could see the last 2 years they beat Mercedes, so it's not something impossible. But in the moment this year, they were not as performing as the last 2 years. So, But there is a chance next year that they can be, again, fighting for the World Championship. Looks like, because they recover pretty well and pretty quick.
I think the second half of the season will be very, very interesting. They can be, they've shown they're only getting stronger in terms of personnel.
Everyone else gets weaker, because they come from somewhere.
Yeah.
The bleed has not happened yet there, like it did in the past at Mercedes and did at Red Bull. We're still waiting for the McLaren bleed to commence, which it will at some point, but it's still not there. I think that the team behind the scenes there really have a lot to show. So I wouldn't be shocked if they're up to A, into the A's by the end of the year. Okay. Then let's get into Ferrari. Interesting season for them. Bits of up and downs, some political stuff that did not really go their way. They planned out their engines. They planned out so that they could, be quicker off the line. And then all of a sudden the political game comes into play and their start line, their starting speed gets mitigated, and that huge advantage they had in terms of gaining track position is gone. But they have 307 points. They've got 2 wins, 1 for each driver, but they're still not quite there. How would you grade Ferrari of the year so far?
I will give them an A. They're doing good, I think they have not been in this position for a long time, and that for me it's an A, and I think if Mercedes is continue, I wouldn't say struggle because they're not struggling, but if they are not going back to their best days at maybe 2-3 races ago, Ferrari can even have a go at the World Championship, because George obviously is not performing as they want at Mercedes, so Ferrari has still got a chance. That's for an A for Ferrari.
When you say the World Championship, you mean the constructors?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
And the drivers, if they let Lewis be the number 1.
That is now the theory of Matt,
That's right.
Well, I guess the theory of Matt, and then it soon becomes the theory of everybody else, because I am on the bleeding edge, baby.
The race will read it,
Yes, that's right.
Or listen to it. Yeah.
Yes.
It seems like the big question that I have around Ferrari is that, with this new reg set, is their ceiling over the next few years going to be high enough to actually win a driver's championship, to win a constructor, to really be the best car? Or are they just starting? It seems like they took this risk on the different, the size of the engine that was going to get them more, speed off the starts, and maybe, it's like a little bit less bulky, but at the end of the day, does that just
Toto
lower
was
their
like,
ceiling?
It's not safe. No way. I'm really worried about safety.
Sure,
And
political
then-
games aside, it's just like it seems like they just don't have the same amount of power, and that really rears its head in the power-dependent tracks. Like Monza seems like it's going to be really tough. They're in theory they're adding some upgrades and bringing some upgrades for those kinds of races, but are they just kind of screwed in terms of the height of their ceiling because of the decisions they made?
Like McLaren is going to surpass them probably, and then it's McLaren that's going to.
That's what it feels like. It's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. I don't know. With these engines, you still can work on it. They get the Adua I don't know how many. They are 4% down, I think. So they can do some stuff there.
Yeah.
Plus, you always can do something for safety and reliability and all that good stuff. So I wouldn't say that stops them completely. And if you ask me, do you see them coming to beat Mercedes? Just out of not easy, but is it impossible? Also not. It's basically, I don't give you an answer. It's a political answer. I don't know.
Okay.
Basically, I don't know. But I think they're in a position. I don't think it's a done deal that they cannot win the championship. It's still possible, if you ask me.
Who do you give a better chance to, McLaren or Ferrari, to overtake Mercedes?
I split it 50-50. They both have got the same.
You son of a bitch.
No. Because that's what it is. For me, It is like, I think it's equal. And don't forget also Red Bull. I mean, the 4 big teams, they can all do it, in my opinion. They can all do it. Very difficult to predict, but I think Mercedes will stay there, but at the beginning of the year, we thought they've got a big advantage, and the big advantage is gone. They got an advantage, but it's not there every race weekend, They need to get it right. They need to get everything right to make it happen. So, that has gone quickly.
It just seems that they've always got some pebble in the shoe. It's like, when are they just going to have the fastest car? It hasn't been. Next year will be 20 years since they won a drivers' championship. In 2028 will be 20 years since they won a constructors. When will we see Ferrari dominate Formula One again? I don't know. But they get an A from Guenther for this, which brings us to our final team, Mercedes AMG Petronas Formula One team, 379 points. Kimi Antonelli has had the year that he's had, obviously. George Russell has had the year that he's had, obviously. And it seems like some teams are now starting to catch up. So the question is, Guenther, are they an S?
No, they're an A+.
I like it.
They are not an S. Beginning of the season, they were an S, but they are an A+. They are better, but it's just a little bit,
And they got some real reliability problems.
Yeah, exactly. Which doesn't give you an S, a lot of them, So,
and they can't fucking start. They can't. They go backwards on the starts. I mean,
they're not perfect. They are not like. This is the perfect podcast. They are not perfect like our podcast.
Wait a minute. A minute. Hold on. There's a plot twist. They are first in the DHL standings, so maybe they are an S.
Okay.
So.
No, they are an S in DHL standings, not in our standing,
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, they've had to play a lot of catch up this year, and then I don't know, the whole way that they're handling George Russell right now doesn't feel to me like a team that deserves an S. Guenther, question. This is coming out in a couple weeks after this news, but what do you make of this Toto Wolff on vacation with one Max Verstappen and Kimi Antonelli while his driver George Russell is in fucking hell right now? What do you make of that?
We should ask George how he feels about to be left out here,
Can't be good.
It can't feel great.
No, for sure he doesn't feel great, but maybe, I don't know where Josh has gone for holiday, so I have no idea about that one, but...
they all live in Europe, Guenther. It's all like 20 minutes away, right?
No, that is what you think, because you live in America, but in Europe, it's like stereotyping here. No, they're not 20 minutes away.
I mean, how far is Monaco...
Yeah, they take their yachts from they take their yachts from Monaco to Sardinia, right? So
Sardinia can't be that far from Monaco, where George lives.
No, they all live there. They all live there in Monaco,
Right.
So you're proving my point. George is not far from them.
But he could have gone somewhere else, Matt. How the hell we know where he's gone? Maybe he's gone back to England to visit.
I think that if Toto said, "Hey, want to come hang out with me over this break in Sardinia?" George would have been there with fucking bells on. I was
going to say maybe he was not invited.
I don't think
I would think that he was not invited. That is what the hunch that I get.
No, or maybe it was like, yeah, if you're around, just come by. That means don't come by, basically.
Right. Read between the lines. Little Larry David.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's always great. It's like you're welcome anytime, but you're never invited.
Yeah.
When someone says, "Oh, you can come over whenever," I'm like, "Invite me. You could come whenever." I'm like, "I'm not going to come to your house uninvited."
When is whenever? Yeah.
When is whenever?
Yeah.
But I don't know how things are done in that, in that world. Do you think it's just, he just texted, or was it Max just happened to be in the area?
I think with Max, he just happened to be in the area, and Kimi, obviously, we know his relationship with Kimi. So, and Kimi doesn't have his own boat yet. So Kimi needs to be a guest of someone, while Max has got his own one. And Max was bored, not to speak about racing.
So let's drill down into
Max,
this.
never forget, wait a moment, not forget, Max, they drive a Mercedes GT3 car in the Langstrecke.
No, we recognize that they have a relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Which goes beyond friendship. It's gone business as well,
I see.
Yeah, well, it also then might be the additional business of getting George Russell the fuck out of there and Max Verstappen becoming a Mercedes driver. That also might be a part of the business.
You never know, but I don't think so. Anyway.
Anyway,
you're right. They probably just talked about GT3 cars.
Exactly.
There was definitely no mention.
Nothing. They never speak about Formula One. No,
exactly.
I think that if Toto had Kimi and George there and they were all on jet skis having a grand old time, I would be tempted to put them in the S tier. But because George was left out, I think they deserve their place in the A tier. So that does it for us. That is Aston Martin as a D+, Cadillac and Williams with a D, Audi with a C+, Haas with a C-. In the Bs, we got Alpine B-, Red Bull B, McLaren and Racing Bulls both B+, Racing Bulls out scoring Red Bull, which I love. And then in the A tiers, Ferrari with an A, Mercedes with an A+. No one is in the S tier yet. Guenther Steiner is a hard grader, and I love it. How do you feel about your list, Guenther?
I feel great about my list. When you said it, perfect.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. That does it for us, Vankahs. We hope you enjoyed it. We will have more episodes coming for you soon. Goodbye, Vankahs.
Goodbye, Vankahs.